Everyone knows Michael now from Yomi, but if you don't know his history, there was a point in time where I genuinely think Michael was the best Mortal Kombat 9 player in the world. Early in the game's life, around the time from the launch to Evo, he was my pick for the best in the world.
Yeah.
He won 3 majors in a row. It's a straight up vortex.
And Michaelangelo, the man, the Quan Chi of America.
Wait a second, here we go! Michaelangelo is gonna set Scar to the losers bracket!
A Mortal Kombat X legend, none other than Michaelangelo.
Yeah.
What, should we get on
yes.
the podcast?
I guess so.
Oh,
By
I
the
thought
way,
we
should-
already started.
No, no. We were just talking
we're
random
discussing
gibberish.
Street Fighter.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with anything.
So where did we cut off last time?
Oh.
yeah. That was good though. I like the to be continued.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking about MK9 winning GameStop tournaments, and then that's where we left off.
Yeah, so that was a sidebar story. Basically, you said you went to some tournament called PMP or
PDP. Yes.
Yeah, PvP.
The one-handed terror guy. Yes, I got 7th.
Yeah, so you were there, and they made everybody play on this stick, and then that's when you were like, yeah, actually, I'm undefeated at GameStop 9. You know,
Yeah.
MK9, MKX, and
GameStops.
MK11.
Yeah.
You won. You got first place. You're undefeated. San Jose, East Side.
Yeah.
Right, and then that's when you got into the whole like, yeah, that's how I ended up with the stick. So that's how I was comfortable doing the tournament.
Yep.
So let's pick up. Let's build the scene a little bit here.
Okay.
It's the end of the PDP tournament.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that wrong every single
Yeah.
time. What year is it? You know, again,
2011.
It's 2011, right? At this
Yes.
point, you're in your 20s.
23.
You're 23.
Yeah.
Okay, like talk to me. You know, tournament's over. You just got 7th place. You made top 8 at another big tournament. How many people were there?
Like I could say around 500.
Around 500. Okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, that was pretty big, though, right?
That was huge. Like majors were having like, well, in each game, I would say like for Street Fighter maybe like UFGT, like a Chicago one.
Yeah.
That one had like 400, something like that, 300. Street Fighter was always the bigger. MK9, we were hype if we got like 70 to 150 was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after PDP, the Starbase Arcade thing, the guy's like, oh, Michaelangelo shit. So then I go to after PDP, I think I go to Chicago next, and Chicago's UFGT before Combo Breaker. This is some history right here. So it was called UFGT. It was ran by Keats, and I basically was like, still going, not giving up. I got my top 8 at PDP, but then I was like, I already had my, what is it when like a tour. I already had my tour dates and everything, signups like until like 5 months in the future. So I was just ready for everything. And so I went to Chicago. I played. So this is where the story gets kind of crazy. What was it? Freaking, I don't know where to start it. Like, how do I start this?
I mean, walk us through your tour then.
Okay, so this is the thing. What's that guy? You know the guy's name. Oh my God. We're gonna cut this out. Flo.
Oh,
Okay.
Flo.
So now we're back. So Flo, he beat me at PDP.
Okay.
And then we go to UFGT. We meet up. The Street Fighter players still think they're they had more experience just fundamentally in fighting games. So they were taking over MK9. I was known at PDP as the hero of like, because I had the tattoo, right? They seen it like Team Spooky. He was like, he's seen it. And he's like, I remember they were interviewing me, Ski Sonic, and Spooky throws a note down at him. And we look and it says, ask about the tattoo. And then they were like, oh, and they're like, you're an actual MK fan. This top 8's full of Street Fighter players. And I'm like, yeah, I'm actually, I love the game. I'm here because I love it. And so when I go to UFGT, obviously still L.I. Joe, Justin Wong, they're like the big dogs still. And so then eventually I make it to Flo and I beat him to get out of pools. And I think that started this type of rivalry because like I seen him in the hallway after that, and I thought like, oh, like congrats and stuff. And but no, he looked at me in like the most pissed off way, you know. And at that point, I was like, ah, okay. Like there's either someone cool, like when you beat someone, they're either cool with you or they're not. Like Alex Vi. Oh, so this, I think last podcast, I think I talked about Alex Vi, right? When I went to NorCal Regionals, and he's like I got things to do. So at PDP to get top 8, I got Alex Vi. After that, and let me tell you, big fan of Alex Vi. Like I was watching those videos of like, whoa, this is the champ of like the 3rd Evo like ever. Like this guy's the G. So like I was always trying to talk to him, but then when I beat him, he was coming up to me. I remember eating my lunch. We were waiting for our we were in some kind of break at PDP, and someone grabs my shoulders, blow, and they shake me, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I look, and whose face is it? Alex Vi. And he's like, what's up, champ? What's up, Michael? And I'm like, whoa, he's addressing me by name. Like I felt like at this point I'm in, like I'm infiltrated with top players. That was the first moment I felt that way, where I was like, the guy that I looked up to, it's like you're an Elvis fan, right? And then Elvis is like, he notices you and he's like, I like how you play guitar. Like, what's up? You know?
Yo.
And so I was like, wow. And then every time, and then that's not the only, like after he was like that, like I would see him in the hallway walking with like Jay Wong, like all these people where I'm like, oh, and he'd be like Michaelangelo. And I'm just like, wow, like cool. But I didn't say wow, cool to him. Obviously, I just kept it cool. And I'm like, oh, hey, Alex. And so then that was PDP. So UFGT again, beat Flow. So he wasn't like Alex. He was like, you know, screw that guy. So I was like, okay, I see where this is going. So we're 1-1 now. He beat me at PDP. I beat him at UFGT. So this is where the controversy comes into play. So at UFGT, I make it to top 8. I'm in the running we're battling for 3rd place, Justin Wong and I. So I have to play Justin Wong eventually. I'm like, whoa, this guy, he won PDP, $10,000. I was like, whoa, Justin Wong's the man right now. So we had to play. And this is on YouTube and stuff. So we get to playing, and 2 things happen that are weird. So we play our match. Boom, 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 boom. He's Kung Lao. I'm Cabal. We're going at it. So it's a 1st to 2. We always know that. 1st to 2. But when you get to winners finals, it's 1st to 3. Grand finals, 1st to 3. Losers finals, 1st to 3. We weren't there yet. And all the matches before us, all 1st to 2. When it gets to us, they say 1st to 2. We play. I beat him 2-1. It was very close, but I beat him. Keats walks up, the runner of the tournament, the guy that the host of the tournament. He walks up and he's like, let's make this a 1st to 3. And I'm like, right? And you guys could see this all on you. It's crazy. Even Ski Sonic and Ultra David, they were commentating, and they were like, what? What's going on? And so this is the thing. Tournaments were so small back then. Names like obviously Justin Wong, like, you know, Daigo. There was something with it. Like none of this was Justin's fault, but obviously he went along with it, where Keats was like, let's make this a 1st to 3. And me, I wasn't playing for money. Like there was money on the line, but that's not what I was playing for. I wanted to just play people. Like if he were to come up and say, yo, you guys are actually going to be a 1st to 5, I would have been like, okay, more matches. Like I feel like I had the Goku mindset, right? Goku's like, I just want to fight people. Like, I don't care. I'm not in it like, oh, I want the glory or I want the money. Like when he said 1st to 3, I was like, sure. Even though I officially won the 1st to 2, I could have said, no, I'm moving on. I for sure at least got 3rd place. But at that moment, my young self, I was going to these tournaments, not for money, not for fame. I was going because I was like, I want to test myself against the best, and I need to know I'm the best. And I don't care if anyone knows I'm the best. I need to know it. So when he said you got to play the best 1st to 3, I was just like, I agreed. I was just like, sure. And Ski Sonic was just like, this isn't losers finals or grand finals. Like, what's going on? This is what my take is. So tournaments were so small back then that I think like Justin Wong's the name. They want more of him on the camera, right? They want like, you know, MK9, it's big. We want to keep it big by having names. You're not a name yet, Michael. Sorry. Like you got top 8. So, but I was just like, I'll just play whatever. So then that's the first controversial thing that happened. Second thing. So Justin Wong and I, we tie it up. It's 2-2 now. We go in last match, last round. He gets a big combo on me. Thinks he kills me. The combo happens. He gets up and presses pause. And then when he unpauses it, he didn't kill me. And obviously you could DQ. Like I said, I had that Goku mentality where I'm like, I just want to fucking play more. So when he paused it, the whole crowd, DQ, DQ. Justin sitting down like, I'm so sorry, please. And I was just like, obviously everyone's looking at me like, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, I'm like, he obviously was beating me. He had 75% health still. I was like, he thought he beat me. I was like at 2%, 1%. And I looked at that and I was like, I'm here to know I'm the best. If I just say DQ just because he accidentally paused it, I didn't win. So I was like, let's just rock from here. And I almost come back. So he's like, oh shit. So we start fighting and I almost make the comeback. He wins. I get a big ass round of applause from the crowd. I hop off stage. People that didn't like me, I'm not going to name names, but people that didn't like me that day, just that day though, they had a certain like respect for me. They were like, okay, yeah. So then that tournament happened, right? I come home, my uncle's there, picks me up. I have my 4th place medal. I'm just like, hey, I got 4th again. So it's just like, okay. So then the tournament that changed everything, Revelations, first tournament I ever won. So I go to LA next week and I'm just like, okay. What's so funny?
No, I know all about the controversy behind Revelations. My God, there's a huge story.
So
behind it.
wait,
Keep
you
going.
just spoiled it because I know absolutely nothing.
No, we'll talk about this another time.
But just so you know, the controversial thing at Revelations, it was Revelations 2. I went to part 1 where they did pay everyone. So 2, don't
worry about it. We'll get there.
Okay, so Revelations 1, I go with my uncle and his wife and his kid. And so we get there, it's LA. We do some sightseeing, whatever. So I'm chilling with the family. And then I get there. Obviously, the big names are there. Daigo, everyone. Street Fighter's huge. That had like a 10K thing, which is unheard of. Mortal Kombat, it was like winner gets like $500 or something. So I'm playing. I meet a lot of close friends. Like Paul, that's the first tournament I met him at.
Really?
Yeah. Macho, the guy.
Yeah.
So I met Paul there and he was talking about me. Like he didn't know I was right behind. Like we're back to back sitting down watching casuals. He starts saying like, yeah, man, like I'm from NorCal. I hear Michelangelo's from NorCal. I got to hit that guy up. And I turn around and I'm like, is someone talking about me? And he's like, oh, like if you don't know Paul, like his expressions are some of the most amazing, like genuine expressions. And so he was just like, oh, damn, like it's it. So then we just start playing. I think that was the first person I heard like talking about me, and I'm like, okay. So this was the awesome thing. So my uncle was there again, as you guys know. And the moment, so I get top 8, right? I get top 8. Eris is there. Rip. Like these are notable names in the Tekken community. Everyone that was dominating MK at the time were known really good players for another game, Tekken. And that's what my mindset was before MK9 was coming out. I was like, I have Street Fighter experience, and I know Justin Wong, he plays Street Fighter. He's going to kill at MK9, but this is where my advantage lies. He's focused more on Street Fighter. There's only so many hours in the day. If I can play 13 hours a day, I know for a fact that guy cannot. It's impossible for him to play that much MK because I know his percentage is probably 70% Street Fighter. So he has to put in that time. So I know I'm going to catch up eventually. He's just fundamentally right now 10, 20 years of experience on me. Okay, but not hours. So at Revelations, my uncle and I were in the car. And it was the second day when I already got top 8. And I'm like, I look at my uncle. I opened the car door and I looked at my uncle. And I was like, I'm about to win this tournament. And he looked at me and he was just like, yeah. But we kind of did it where it was like, I wasn't certain, but I felt it. But it was more comical. He was just like, yeah, like, I don't know. It wasn't a joke, but it kind of was like, we weren't expecting it. So then we got out of the car and we go to the tournament. And yeah, like I get online. So this is another part of the story too. I should have set this up. So Online Tony was the best cabal in SoCal and possibly the world. And I was known as the best NorCal cabal. So I went to SoCal and lo and behold, who's in grand finals? The best SoCal cabal and the best NorCal cabal. And we go at it. He's in winners. So when I was in top 8, he already beat me and he put me in losers. I come back. I beat Harris. I beat like all these known players. This guy that tested the game, I think his name was damn, I forgot his name. He's such a good guy too. He's such a cool guy. But yeah, he tested the game, and I'm just like thinking, man, like I can't beat these guys, no way, and I'm beating them. Boom, boom, boom. Get back to online Tony. I'm chill, and we're in grand finals, and we start playing, and I tell him before the match, I'm like, man, you must be a little nervous, huh? I am. And he's just like, yeah, I guess a little. So then I 3-0 him. I think it was 3-0, but I body him where I reset him. And we stop for a moment, and I look at him, and I'm like, you must be really nervous now. And this guy, I don't want to put him too much on blast, but like, he smokes a lot. He smokes a lot. So you could tell like he's like blitzed, and he looks at me. And when I say that, when I'm like, you must be really nervous, he looks and he's just like, and I'm just like, I got him. And then, yeah, so we played, and I got him. And I was just like, whoa, and like stood up, I'm like, I'm a champion of Mortal Kombat. Like, whoa, I did it. And, it was a great moment. Everyone's applauding. It was my first tournament whenever. My uncle's there. He's just like, seen the struggle of like, I got 16th at Power Up. PDP got 7th. UFGT lost to Justin Wong in the controversial match, got 4th. But I never stopped. I was always like, I'm not doing this for money. I just want to body people at this game and the best. That's all I was doing. And the weird thing is, the way I put this is like, when you're really, really good at something, I never felt like I'm this god. I'm this person that's the best. I always felt average, but the better I got, the more that people were above me, I was just bringing them down to below average. Like, it's weird. Like, I never felt like I'm this person. Like, yeah, I'm a Mortal Kombat god. I always felt I could always learn more. I could always do more. Because in my head, I was like dissecting it. And I'm like, there's still so much to learn in this game. I'm putting like 13 hours a day. But I know I need to know more characters, this and that. But while doing that, I was just like, when I'm playing these other people, I'm like, damn, they don't know as much as I do. And I could almost see the hours they're putting into it. I'm like, this guy's putting 7 hours. This guy's putting 9. Like, so, but yeah, I won. And guess what? I go to Disneyland. I'm like, I did it. And it's like, the NFL when they say we're going to Disneyland.
Going to Disneyland.
Yeah. Oh, but this was the epic thing too. I think this was my favorite part of the whole LA tournament was my uncle's seen the struggle, right? He went to my first tournament saying, we got to get you a sponsor, get you known. He's seen me go 0-2 many times. I felt good about myself because I felt like I kept disappointing them, even though he was saying he wasn't disappointed. He's not a guy that's like, you're disappointed. No, like but I felt it. I was like, this guy is like, he paid for some of my stuff. Like he got hotels and he was there like, I'll drive you and stuff. So I was like, now the pressure's really on because I want to do good for us. I don't want it to just be a waste of a trip. So the moment I felt like, okay, for me, I made him happy was, I was chilling with him, had my trophy, whatever, did an interview, and a guy came up to me and said, Michaelangelo, can I get a picture? And who does he give the camera to? My uncle. He's like, sir, can you come over here and take this picture of me and Michaelangelo? And I've never seen my uncle turn redder. He turned super red and was just smiling as he was taking this picture. And he gave the guy the camera back and he hugged me and he was like, this is the start of something. Like, this is your first picture. And I'm glad, like, that was my, I got a fan wanting to take a picture cherry popped where my uncle was there to witness the picture cherry popping. Like and he was just, it was a beautiful moment that I almost receiving a medal that it did nothing. It was like that's what that did. I was like, oh, this is why I'm doing it now, because to see like people that support me, because there was people that I'm really close to that didn't support me. They're like, dude, just get a job. Come on. You lost in Chicago. You got 4th. Like, come on. Which 4th is like, shit, dude. Even top 8, it's like, you guys know how hard it is. Like, it's even back then it was like, dude, I'm going against Justin Wong. Like, but a lot of people didn't know who that is. They don't care. They're like, it's a gamer. You know, whatever. Like, but he was always like about it. And I'm like, I'm here to impress the supporters, and it feels great. So eventually I went to Disneyland, and man, it was like better than ecstasy. Like, just like I was at Disneyland riding rides, it's a small world after all, but I really wasn't there mentally. I was in fantasy land, just like, I'm a fucking champion. Like, you know, like it was just, nothing could hurt me. You know, when you have those days, maybe you like graduated or did a goal that took you years. And then it's like, I could like step in dog shit today. I could like break a leg. Nothing can hurt me because I'm just, you know, I'm on cloud 9. So yeah, I was at Disneyland. It was a great time. And then I go to NorCal Regionals. And that's like a week later, NorCal Regionals. So I go to NorCal Regionals, and a guy comes up to me, a good friend, that when I won Revelations, he was like, dude, man, like, what are you doing right now? We were sitting by the pool. He's like, what are you doing right now? Like, I would like get naked and jump in this pool right now, like if I was champion. And I'm just like, for me, I was just so relaxed. He was saying, I was just like, yeah, it's cool. Like, but I think in the back of my mind, it was cool, but it wasn't the end yet. Like, I was just like, I was like, I still need to get better at this game. Like, that wasn't the end game. So then I go to NorCal Regionals. Justin Wong's there, Flo, all these people. So then Flo and I have our rival match, our trilogy, as you say, right? I beat him at UFGT. He beat me at PDP. This was it. This was the one. And this was more like when I played Alex Valle in top 8 as well. Alex Valle, cool guy. I was like, yeah, like we're going to go down. And I beat him. And then I play Flo, and it was more serious. And Justin Wong's coaching him on the side. So I'm like, oh, like this is really intense because I don't like this guy. But then someone I look up to is coaching him. Like, beat Flo. And that was the end of that. Who's in grand finals? Justin Wong and I, the winner of PDP, the guy that we had the controversial match that I didn't DQ him, where I was like, this is my chance again. And I beat him. He picks Raiden and I pick Cabal. This is the funny thing. And this is the sad thing too. So the funny thing is Flo was trying to coach Justin, and you could see him walk into frame and start coaching him. And I go around Justin and I shoo him away. I'm like, you're done already. I beat you. Like, get out of here. And you see that this is crazy. You see like almost like a little snake slither away. Like he looks at me and he's just like, and he slowly gets out of frame. And Justin's laughing about it. He's like, oh my God. Like, and I'm just like, shoo. Like, you're done. This is the sad thing though. That was uploaded on Justin TV before Twitch and everything. They took it down. Cherie and I looked for like a whole day. We looked at more footage like of like just myself. Like, let's see what else we found stuff I didn't know was out there, and we saved it all and stuff. But this one we could not find. It's just not in existence anymore. I tried contacting Hanzo Gonzo. I don't know if you know who that is, but like, yeah, he was like the production of NorCal Regionals. He was just like, it should be there, and I'm just like, you uploaded Street Fighter 4 and stuff, but it is what it is. But so I got my revenge, and I felt that showed me as a player, you should not go for money. You should not go, if you really want to be good at something, go to be good at it. And I think, what if things were different if I said, yeah, I'm going to DQ Justin? I think it lit the fire more when I didn't DQ him and he beat me. I trained harder, and then I finally got like, eventually if you're destined to be good or beat somebody, you're going to beat him. If you're not, you're not. Like, that's it. Don't try to cheat or something like that. So the guy that was talking to me about the pool thing at Revelations, he was like, if you win NorCal Regionals, I'm going to talk to Canada. Like, there was a Canada sponsor. It was a Canada tournament. Canada Cup. Canada Cup. Oh. It might have been. I'm not sure. I don't know. Who was it?
Tim Horton. It's a donut shop over there.
Oh, I'm not sure. No. But no, I freaking yeah, it was Canada Cup, and there was a guy sponsoring that dude, and he was like, if you do good, he said if you get like top 8 and do decent, I'll talk to the guy. I won, went right up to him, and I was like, what do you think now? And he was just like, okay. So like, yeah, he got into talks with the guy. Nothing ever came from it, because then I got hit up by some other people. So now I'm 2 tournaments in a row. I won 2 tournaments in a row. So this was the final nail in the coffin. I was winning West Coast tournaments, Revelations, NorCal Regionals, back to back, boom, boom, boom. All the East Coast players, Rio, Tom Brady, these people that I looked up to, what were they saying online? Michelangelo's winning only West Coast tournaments because there's no good players at West Coast tournaments. I kind of agreed with them, because if you're a good player, you're going to study everyone, right? East Coast did have the best players. Like they did have like, Chris G came off of a win. I forgot what tournament he won, but Chris G was like, he won with his reptile somewhere. Tom Brady won power up. Like the Rio was there, like great players. So I was like, okay, got from NorCal Regionals, took the funds that I won from that, traveled to the East Coast Throwdown. So I went over there, met Chris G, met all these people, Tom Brady. And I'm just like, all right. I was the only West Coast guy. There wasn't, back then for Mortal Kombat, there's no people traveling from East Coast to West Coast and West Coast to East Coast to play. So I was the only West Coast guy in the den of wolves. And I was like, this is where the competition's at. So I go there, meet some great people. I was actually a fan of some guy. His name's AC1987. But I never seen his face. I would always respect his Cabal in Mortal Kombat 3. And he would win tournaments. Boom, boom, boom. A guy comes up to me and says, Michaelangelo. And I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? I don't know who it is. And he's just like, blah, blah, blah. He says it so fast, I don't catch it. And then he walks away. And I'm like, what'd you say? And he's like, AC 1987. And I'm like, dude, you're... And then like, it's like almost like he's seen Michael Jackson and I seen Elvis. Like, we're like... oh shoot, like I love, and he's like, no, I love you, and it's just like this cool moment where I'm like, two fanboys meet each other, and it's like we're both fanboys, like it's crazy. Became friends ever since, and he was a good dude. And then, so long story short is like, I go to East Coast Throwdown. What happens? I win. I won East Coast Throwdown, destroyed everyone, and yeah, that was the nail in the coffin where no one else, it didn't matter who else, and I wasn't lying to myself. I had to know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm the best player in the world. When I won Revelations NorCal Regionals, it's 2 in a row, but I was still like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I know I'm not the best. It's just East Coast is so good, I have to test myself there. When I won East Coast Throwdown, the feeling I got, I can never explain, and I don't know if I'll ever have again, where it's like, when I knew without a shadow of a doubt, okay, I am the best in the world. The feeling, like how I described Revelations, when I went to Disneyland, I was like on cloud 9, like I'm the best, at least in the West Coast, right? In the East Coast, it was my first time visiting New York. So with, I was after the end of the tournament, I go to New York, sightsee. But again, I'm like, colors are brighter, things are just better, like everything's great. I'm on like, my dopamines are like a rush. And crazy enough, I'm taking the bus to go to Coney Island because I have to see the freaking the Ferris wheel, the Warriors, obviously the movie. So I was like, I need to see that Ferris wheel. So I take a train to Coney Island. Who's on the train? Chris G, the guy beat in grand finals. You're a mind reader. But yes, Chris G. I'm just like, damn, like, the two best in the world are on this train right now. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, so random. And this was the weird thing. I was sleeping. I slept on the train, and my dad woke me up, and he's like, hey, that's the guy you played. And I looked, and I was like, oh, shit, it is him. And, like, yeah, so we go to Coney Island, Ferris wheel, all that good stuff. And that was it. Like, that was the end of, like, the greatness, right? After ECT, Twitter, boom, 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 boom. What are my DMs saying? Sponsorships, offers. I'm just like, and this is the thing. So I went to visit my dad. My dad and I never had a good relationship, but that's besides the point. I went to go visit him, and I'm like, since I'm in the East Coast, I'm going to go see you, whatever. So I'm in this like rinky-dink house, but in the basement, almost like where it's like this basement, there's a room and it looks like a murder scene. But what's in that room? The only computer, like where I was in the East Coast, it's called like Newcastle, where it's like 10,000 people in the city, right? And it's hard to get internet. But I'm there on Twitter because it's before, like, I had a phone, but it was before, like, I had internet on the phone. This is like 2011. So I was just like on this computer, and yeah, on Twitter, boom, 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 just sponsor. And who do I think of? My uncle, when we went to our first tournament, and he said, Michael, the goal is to get a sponsorship. And I was just like, okay. And when that, Twitter said boom, 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 sponsorships, I was like, like, it was just another thing of like he was always impressed with me, my uncle, but like it was just another like the guy that really I'm doing this for and that pushed me to do it. And why I think I'm here now, because I probably would have quit if he wasn't here. If there wasn't someone saying, let's go to this, I'll drive you, let's go, come on, like having faith in me, at least one person, I don't know where I'll be. So yeah, I was, oh shoot, okay, sponsorship, boom, boom. I was happy, called him up, hey, look at all this. And so then that happened, East Coast Throwdown. So now I'm the favorite to win Evo. It's like, oh damn, Evo 2011. I have an entourage. All my friends from NorCal and stuff, we take a road trip there. There's like 10 to 12 of us. Jacob, Hovey, Anton, shout out to them. My sister, her boyfriend, my uncle, obviously, like his wife, his kid. I just had a lot of friends that are like, man, we've been seeing you online just killing at these tournaments. So then I'm at I'm at Evo. What happens? Obviously, it takes like a long time. Evo still had a lot for MK9, a lot of people. I take all day to get to like almost top 8, right? So I'm 1 win away from top 8. I'm still in winners. I have to play Chris G in winners. He gets his revenge. He puts me into losers. Boom. I'm like, oh. It was a devastating loss. It was like 1 hit and I would have made top 8. And I go down. Boom. Who do I have to fight in losers? The best SoCal Cabal. Online Tony, the 2 guys I beat in Revelations and ECT, they beat me and made me get 9th when I was the favorite to win Evo 2011. I was so devastated, but it didn't hit me yet. I started walking back to the room. Obviously, my whole entourage, family and friends were with, and they're just like, "Oh, it's all good. Let's go drink." They didn't think nothing of it. For me, this was life. I quit my job. This was life, but I didn't know how passionate I was about this until I started crying. And I walked right when I got outside the venue, like Evo, right? The doors, like right when I got outside into Vegas, like casinos, I started crying. Like it was bad. It was like my sister, my uncle, Rex was there. Everyone like just seeing I think it was seeing just the sadness of them too. They're like, oh man, like damn. And I'm just like so sad. In like it was crazy, and I didn't stop crying until I got to the room. Still was crying for like 20 minutes, and they're just there. I could tell they were such a good support system because they're there just laying down waiting for me to stop crying because they want to, we all want to go party. So I finished crying, and right when I finished, I was like, all right, let's go. Like I got over with it, like, but I just needed that like 20 minutes of like passionate, like you fucked up, like this was you were the favorite and you didn't even get top 8. So that's when I knew. I was like, man, I might be in this for the long haul. Like I don't think I'm going to end in the FGC because I didn't know. I thought my goal is to beat some people, maybe get out. But after me, like really sad, I was like, damn, I'm taking this like if I lost the NBA championships or something, like that's a big deal. But the thing is, for fighting games, that is my NBA championship. Like, if I was in the NBA and I lost, I wouldn't cry because I'm not as passionate as I am in fighting games, So it is what it is. I got my 9th place. And so after Evo, I stopped for a bit. I went to Summer Jam. I got top 8 over there. It was a smaller one, but I got top 8. Then my MK9 story started coming to an end. It was just like, I got my 3 tournament wins. I lost at Evo. Oh, well. So then I was like, my funds, like I said, I saved 10 grand. My funds started like, it was drained, like plane tickets, hotels, just everything. Like, and then I was winning. Like I said, NorCal regionals, I won $400. LA tournament, I won $500. Like I was losing more money than winning, but I was like gaining just knowledge and experience and my passion, I guess. So then, but obviously funds were draining. So what happened? I was like, well, I'm out of MK9. Like that was it. That was the end of my FGC run, I guess you can say. And MK9 was done for me. So then I got a job in the East Coast. I was living here for a little bit again, and then my dad hits me up, and he's like, "I could get you a job out here, working construction for the union, like building like firehouses and stuff. So you're getting like 30 an hour minimum. And I'm like, okay. So I go there. I go visit for like half a year. And I tell everyone here, like, I don't know, like when I'm coming back. I say bye to Rex, everyone. And so I got to experience like being away from like everyone I've known my whole life. And then I worked with my dad, getting hella bank, right? Like working construction. Great. It was cool. But I was super lonely. I got to meet Forever King. Shout out to Forever King. So there was console combat. I would still go to that. They sponsored me while I was working over there. So it was cool. It was like little tournaments every here and there. But then eventually, like, I had a lot saved up. And I was like, at that point, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, as much as like $30 an hour, like it was 2012 at the time. I was like, this is cool, but it didn't give me that high like training for a tournament is, and like this and that, right? So 2013 happens. This is where I meet Atlanta. Injustice 1 was announced. Injustice 1 came out. So I said, hey, I saved up enough again. Time to quit. So I quit, did Injustice, got sponsored by Alpha Clash. Shout outs to Carolyn.
No, Macro Micro Gaming.
Alpha Clash was the
local
tournament.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
local.
I got
Macro Micro Gaming, which Julio was also sponsored by. Met Atlanta.
Give me a little bit of backstory. Wait, talk to me about both of those things you guys just mentioned.
Oh,
You
you're
said-
talking about like when we first met? It was actually at my local. He scared the hell out of me the first time I met him.
So okay,
He's scary.
so this is the
I don't know why. I
But
just
so
scared
this
of
is
him.
the setup to the biggest story you guys are about to gonna hear like in about maybe like 10 minutes or something. Okay, before Alpha Clash, before I meet Atlanta, I meet this guy, and he owns a tattoo shop. This is where I get my neck tattoo. He's like, oh, Michaelangelo, like, come here. He had a little madhouse, as you say, but in his tattoo shop. He had like 4 setups, MK players. He's like, whoever wants to come. And then, so I go to San Francisco. It's in San Francisco. I go there. Some big dude, yoked dude, like Vin Diesel with tattoos. I'm just like, whoa, but he's like a fan. He's like, dude, Michaelangelo, like, oh my God. He's like, if you ever want a tattoo here, I'll give you half off. I'm like, dude, half off. So if I get like a $600 tattoo, it's like $300. And he's like, yes. I was like, I'll hold you to that. So what do? I hold him to it. And guess what? The neck tattoo is from him. Like, it was from an MK fan. Like, that was pretty cool. So it was like half off. Like, okay. So I get to meet this guy, and this is the craziest. What do you say in like is it a premonition or foreseen like future where it's like, he tells me this story where he's like, I have a plan, Michael. And this is 2013. He says, I have this plan. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I want to pimp, like, pimp my ride. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I want to do that, but in the FGC, like a warehouse where I pimp it out. And it's like Pimp My Ride, but it's like video games. And I'm like, what? And me, I'm a guy that like, you can talk all you want, but I want to see action. Like, I've heard many people talk before. But then.
Okay, so basically you guys were talking about how you met, and then you have this this real like build up, and there was a gentleman at the tattoo shop who had a premonition.
Yes, build up. Yes. So Pimp My Ride. Yeah. Like, I want to make this gamer thing go down. Like, it's going down. And I'm like, okay. So this is 2013. Okay. Eventually I don't see him for like until 2015. But in the middle of that, I get to meet Atlanta. He ran this in Eastridge. He ran this thing called Wall Bounce Wednesdays, where it's like, I guess he helped out with, what was the store's name?
Oh, the place was called Bounce City.
Bounce City.
Yeah.
But he used it as like a madhouse where it's like he had setups after at midnight when it was closed, the whole gate thing is like locked up and stuff. And that's where we first meet, but tattoos fresh and everything. Like, so he's like, oh, hello, sir. And yet he admits later, he's like, I was afraid of you. And I'm just like, I'm the nicest
honestly,
guy.
I was a very sheltered boy. I'm like, man, this guy has a neck tattoo. He's going to stab me.
But I'm going to body you in the game. That's all it was. Don't worry. So yeah, I get to meet him, Paul, like cool people. 2013 was a great year. Got to meet like the whole Alpha Clash thing. Carolyn did a great local. Like, she had a local. Great top players were there. Fun time. Got sponsored by them for a little bit. Micro Gaming. So 2013 happens. Killer Instinct's out. Injustice. I didn't like. I played it for a bit. I got top 16 at Evo. Not bad for playing Injustice. Like, but I wasn't like Mortal Kombat. Like, obviously, like I was passionate about it. So I was just like, okay, so quit eventually. Like after Evo, didn't play Injustice really. So 2013 and 2014 happened, and I don't think not much happens. I think like I start street sweeping. My uncle, the one obviously that takes, the one that follows me everywhere, he got me a job, like just graveyard shift, like his business, street sweeping, cleaning like Lowell's like parking lots and stuff. So that's cool. And I get to bring Sam. So I'm there, just making money. I'm in like Sacramento. I have to go far, like Sacramento, wherever. But I know the FGC by now. So as I'm doing my little rounds of street sweeping, I go to their houses at like midnight and stuff. Like, hey, you home? Let's play some Third Strike. Let's do this. And I'm just like, and my uncle was cool. Like, I can take breaks however I want. He's just like, you got to do this. Funny side story. I didn't think I would get to this, or I would say this on the podcast. You guys could cut it out if you want. But during my street sweeping job, you run across a lot of interesting people. There was a guy living in his van, older gentleman, 40s or something, has like the whole like cardboard around his van saying stuff on it, like government, this and that, blah blah. But I'm just street sweeping, whatever. He stands right in front of the street sweeper, boom. So I have to stop, and I'm just like, okay. And he's just like, he comes around into the window, and he's like, you're part of the mob, you're in the mafia. And I'm like, I'm just doing my job. And he was just like, and my window was open, and he started sticking his head more inside, and he's like, I knew you guys were following me. And at this moment, while he's talking, I silently open the knob door, and I'm just like, yeah, because he's starting to, his head's in the window, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And out of nowhere, blow, I kick the door open, and he goes flying, and he's just like, oh, and I'm like, you're crazy. And this is, I go off on him, and he just like walks away, and it goes back to his van. And the next day, my uncle's like, I got an email, Michael, what happened? And I explained the whole thing. I'm like, dude, look, like, this guy's like insane. And he's like, no, trust. Like, I looked at his like the guy at a site or something, and he's talking about nonsense about government and stuff, like they're after him or whatever. So he understood. But it was just a funny little thing on the job. Like, it was just some crazy guy. And
Is that site still up?
I don't know who the guy was. I don't remember his name or anything, but it was just a funny little thing that happened. But the cool thing was, during that job, I went to local fighting game heads' houses, Third Strike, Mortal Kombat, whatever we wanted to play. Chilled, got to work. Graveyard shift is not bad. From like 8 p.m. to like 6 a.m., I was like, I don't have to deal with customers. There's not like, it's just like me and my dog, and like I could listen to music. I can, I'm just cleaning, like whatever. Like, so that was chill.
It's so weird not only to imagine you like, working a job like that, like Toy Story, like the guy loading up like the trash in the back or whatever, right? Like, oh, you saw him as like Sid, as like the kid, and then you see him like growing up or whatever, right? Like, imagining you like that, and then you on top of that being such an easygoing guy having to deal with like some real stuff like that, and like yo, like now I gotta fight, like, like,
this guy, and I'm like, I should have, when I kicked the door open, I should have been like, I'm an MK champion, and like kick the door or something, But it was just a funny thing. So yeah, save money again, like doing street sweeping, whatever. And then 2015 comes around, and this is the start of something insane. So 2015 happens, and remember that tattoo guy, the guy that had this premonition of like, or I'm gonna create, this thing, and it's gonna be pimped out, and it's gonna be this warehouse and gamers everywhere, and I'm gonna invite people from here. So MKX comes out April 19th, 2015. I know it's April, but I think it's April 19th. And I'm playing it at home. I'm like, I have the plan already, saved up from the street sweeping job. I have the plan again. Time to train for Evo and all these tournaments again. And MKX is great. I'm like, dude, this is even better than MK9. Like, I already got my character, like minute one, I just pick Quan Chi. And the moment I play him online, I'm like, I love this character. Like, he's exactly how I like it. So I'm playing, and what happens? I get a phone call from a guy I haven't heard from in a long time. And this phone call is the phone call that changed my life. And my sister was in the other room. Her door was open. She's just like, talking to me while I'm playing some MKX online. Day like 1 or 2 that it's out. And so I'm training. Boom, 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 boom. Out of nowhere, get a phone call. And who is it? The tattoo guy. And he says, Michael. And I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, my sister is in the other room looking at me. And it looks like, you know, when someone wins like on a radio show or something and they're like, woohoo. And the family's like, what's going on? During this phone call, he's telling me, he's like, look, you remember what I told you? And I'm just like, yeah. While MKX is just in the background, like, I'm ready to train, but I'm taking this call. And he's just like, it's ready. And I'm like, what's ready? And he's like, dude, I have a warehouse, 20 setups. I'm inviting the best gamers, you from Cali, from Vegas, from Ohio, from New York. And I'm just like, what? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, when is this happening? He's all, now. I was like, when do I go? He's like, I already got you a plane ticket tomorrow. And I'm like, at that point, I was just like, okay, do I do this? And he told me, he's like, what he tells me on this phone is a gamer's dream. He's like, look, I'm paying you salary. Every time you commentate, I love your commentary. Every time you commentate, I'm paying you every time, like every day. I'm having tournaments every week. It's like if we had MADHouse, every week he was putting up $1,000 for the winner. It was like insane. And I'm like, what? And he's just like saying all this like heavenly stuff. Like, you don't have to work. It's just, you're just going to train with the best players that I'm inviting from other places. I'm paying for all your food, your lodging. Like, you just have to worry about gaming. And like, I'm on this phone. My sister's looking at me because I'm getting more like stoked, more like, I'm just like, what? And I'm like, okay, thank you. The thing I remember saying to him is just, thank you. What? Thank you. Because he just kept saying like, I'm going to do this for you. And I'm just like, thank you. And so he's like, tomorrow I got you the plane ticket already. And I'm just like, okay, turn off MKX, pack my bags, have a hard night's sleep because I can't sleep because I'm just like, my life's about to change tomorrow. I was talking to a chick at the time. I tell her like, and it was funny. When I met this chick, I kind of was straight up. I was like, look, I just do gaming. Like, I'm a pro gamer. And she gave me this like, pfft, like it was like, that's not a thing. And then eventually it was like, when he did that, I called her and I'm like, look, like, whatever was happening with us, like, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. Like the guy said, like, this is going to be for 2 years at least, this beast of a machine that he's creating. So I am at least 2 years in on it. So I have to say bye to everyone here. And I'm like, peace. And everyone understood. They're like, do your thing, dude. So I go to Atlanta. So this guy, he creates Yomi Gaming. Greatest freaking sponsor in history. But not to take away from my other sponsors. But this sponsor is paying me to live there, feeding me. Like, the moment I get there, like, dude, the guy would pick you up in limousines. Like, and other gamers that he was sending here, like limousines, like his chairs were great. He had mics, like the stream, like he had mics where he could hear us and stuff, like while we're fighting and everything. This guy he made like a Michaelangelo 16th chapel, not me, but the artist, the 16th chapel where it's the church. He paid a painter to create that, but fighting games. The painter painted the Daigo parry, Evo moment number 37. He painted Ken parrying Chun-Li on this ceiling where we look like you're walking in Yomi. First of all, it's like, it looks like a club, like a strip club, right? Like you're walking in, mirrors in the hall. When you get to the end of the mirror hallway, you're in the warehouse, and there's a yellow brick road, and the yellow brick road leads you to like the main check-in station. And then through the main check-in station, there's the Michaelangelo 16th chapel of like fighting game history stuff. And then through that, there's the training facility. And then, but also around that is like our bunks. Imagine an army base, but for gamers. So I walk in and obviously everyone's like saying what's up to me. I know some gamers already. And it was surreal because the moment I felt it was so surreal is like, I unpack my bags and it's just like an army base double bunk kind of thing, just with other gamers. And when I packed my bags, I'm like, this is home now. Like, I'm here. And so it's just like, damn, like I'm going to sleep here, eat here, everything here. He had built-in showers, it was like a hyperbolic time chamber. right? Like there was no windows. This is a warehouse. Like there's no windows, so we didn't know if it was day or night. So I'm like, damn, like this is just training 24/7 with the best of the best. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, this idea sounds oddly familiar.
What do you mean, oddly familiar?
Oddly familiar to some ideas other people may or may not have. So go on.
I'll be insane. But so I'm there, unpack my bags, have my locker. Like I'm just like, whoa, this is like, this is really what it came down to. Like what I thought, and again, when I unpacked my bags, I thought of my uncle, and I thought of when he said, the sponsorship is the goal. But now I'm like, this is a different beast entirely. Like this is life for me now. Like that's it. So yeah, I went there, and this was the cool thing. When you first get a job or like something like that, maybe like go to summer camp or whatever, right? Because that's what it felt like, but for 2 years. Imagine 2 years of summer camp, but it's a gamer summer camp. This was the coolest thing. I wasn't sure who I was going to be with. Like who were my training partners? It's the best of the best. So who knows? The greatest thing was it was everyone I loved that was in the FGC that I knew prior already. Forever King, the Terry brothers, Slayer. Like I already knew them before and had a great time with them. I love those guys. And when I asked them, I was the first there. So I was the first official person that he flew out to go to Yomi and be at Yomi. And then so I talked to him in his office, and I was like, so who else is coming? And he named off Forever King, Slayer. And I'm just happy because these are like coworkers that I'm like, it's great coworkers. Because I can manage with like coworkers you don't really like, but hey, they're good at the game and they're going to help me. But these are guys I don't even need to play the game with. I'll chill at a club with or something, right? So when he said that, I'm just like, life just got a whole lot easier. Like I can deal with this. Like I'm looking forward to this, even though I already was, because it is what it is. But with that news, I was like, I can be here forever. So then, yeah, Yomi Gaming happens. And this is when I realized like the importance of like having iron sharpens iron, where it's like he invited the guys, Ohio from Vegas, the best of the best. And like, we're waking up and we're just like talking MK. We're playing MK. We're going to sleep talking MK, like strategies, frame data, whatever. We're normal people too. We'll talk about bullshit like, whatever. But it was mostly, so I learned things without even playing a character. Slayer and like DJT, they would talk about Jax and Tanya. Never touched both of them. But since they would talk about them 24/7, frame data, moves that you could do against it. When I would play people that played those characters, I knew what they did. Because just hearing these motherfuckers, I'm trying to sleep, and that's all they're talking about. It's characters, matchups. Like, so I'm like, damn, like, this is MKX 24/7. That's it. And it's just like, damn. And it was the greatest time of my life. I talk to those guys still to this day. I talk to Slayer today. King messages me every day. Like, we're always talking to each other. It was basically a frat house, to be honest. Imagine a frat house where, like, frat house people, they're like brothers, right? They're like, there's like initiations, and they're like,
yeah. What does frat stand for?
I don't even know.
Fraternity.
Oh, what does fraternity mean?
Like a brotherhood, right?
Oh, okay. Exactly. So that's what we were. We were this brotherhood, and like, but there was a war going on. We were a brotherhood that like helped each other because we are getting prepared. This guy flew us out. So there is kind of pressure. Like we gotta, like the moment I stepped at Yomi, I seen the guy, the tattoo guy, right? I hugged him, and I remember what I told him. When I hugged him, this sounds kind of funny, but I whispered in his ear, and I was like, I'm not gonna fail you. I just said that, and he was just like, I know. So this man just had this blueprint of a plan, and he knew exactly what it took. And so yeah, DJT, MIT, freaking Zyfox, Rio, Forever King, just all these great people, Slayer. He built a stream for us, had the green screen, built a stream. Anything we wanted, we had. He made controllers, which I still have to this day in my closet. He made a golden controller for everyone with our names imprinted on the side of it. So mine says Michaelangelo, Forever Kings, whatever. So I think the moment that I felt like, dang, this is where gaming got me. He took us to a strip club, and he gave us $3,000 each in ones. And he was like, do whatever you want with it. And we were just at the strip club, and I grabbed it, and I stood up. And obviously, like, I've been to a strip club with like $100 in ones, right? When you go to a strip club and when you go with that man that, you know, you know how much money he got when he's giving all the gamers $3,000 in ones. Like, this man is like loaded, and he's an MK fan. Great combination. You're a rich MK fan. Yeah, sponsor me. So he gives us all $3,000. And the moment I was like, there was a pause in life for me. I stood up. Everyone's like looking at us. We're in the VIP section, you know, most expensive bottles, like this and that. Everyone wants to be around us. I stood up, grabbed all the money, and just threw it in the air. Poof. And at this moment, life has frozen for me. And I was like, I think I am at like the top of where I thought I would never get, just because of gaming. Just because I thought I'm going to quit my job and play MK9. This road has led to this moment of throwing $3,000 in the air for no reason, but I'm just doing it because I'm a gamer and people love, like, that guy loves me, you know, like he's willing to. At this moment, I realize people are willing to do stuff for you when you are skilled at something. When you show like, I'm one of the best at something, people are willing to do things for you. You could say, hey, do this, and they'll do it. And it was insane. We went to strip clubs. We had a great time. We had our fun. But besides the fun, there was something to uphold. And then, so the first tournament happens, and I got to set this up too. Obviously, you're in a room full of people like me that think they're the shit at Mortal Kombat. Imagine having like the best 6 in the world, like all together in bunks. Not only were we talking about the game every night, we were kind of like, in a way, full of ourselves, but so there was a thing that Slayer said to me. He's like, dude, Mike, I know you were good at MK9. You won your 3 tournaments. But he's like, dude, you're washed up, man. And and I was like, okay. And he's like, I'm not going to give you respect. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, until you beat me at a tournament. And we actually, like, it wasn't like we were smiling about it, but I said, shake my hand. And I was like, I'm going to get your respect. And he's like, okay. And we shook hands, and he said, I won't respect you until you win a tournament. And I was like, all right. And we shook hands, went to sleep that night. A month later, Combo Breaker happens. This is like the test. We were at that warehouse for a month of just training. We don't know where we're at in just like skill wise. We know there's other great players out there. We don't know where we're at, but we're like, well, time to test that out. So we go to Chicago, and I get top 8. Forever King gets top 8. And I think someone else from Yomi gets top 8. But do you know who I had to beat to get top 8? The man who shook my hand and said, I won't respect you until you he said, until you get top 8 at a tournament. I had to beat Slayer. It was I made him get 9th. The salt on that man's face. He was like, and I stood up and I said, hey, how about that respect now? And he was just like, and that was that. From then on, he kept his word. He respected me. He loves me now. Like, we call each other every day. But it was just a good, like, thing. Those little things like that we all had our egos. We all had a big head. It kept me on my toes. Slayer saying, I won't respect you until you get top 8 at a tournament. Forever King saying, oh, you're slipping. Like, I'm winning all these tournament locals and stuff. Like, all these things to test us. Like, it made me, like, there was days I didn't feel like playing, but then I'd see all my training partners playing, and I'm like, they're getting better than me. I had to get up and play. Like, that was just that. But it was just this crazy fantasy thing. Like, I can tell you guys hundreds of stories that happened from, like, people that love, like, you know, like the Ninja Turtles, right? You see, like, imagine if you've seen Leonardo. That's cool, right? Like, oh, I'm a fan of you. Or Donatello. Oh, I'm a fan of you. But when you see all 4 of them together, it's magical. It's like, so there was times at tournaments, right? I'm in Chicago. I'm at, these tournaments. So I'm walking around. I get a little love, right? People want pictures and stuff. But when Yomi goes together and we travel together, it's like a bunch of gamers were just like, they didn't know who to talk to. They were just like, oh, and we just get these crowds of people loving us. And Forever King always says this, and I agree, where it's like, you have sponsored players. The thing about Yomi was, we weren't just people playing the game. We were the coolest people there. Not in terms of like, oh, we're just cool because we're good. We were down to earth. We're down to drink with everyone. We're down to party. Like after the tournament, we just want to have a good time with everyone. We're not like, I was never the type that like, if someone wants to chill with me, I'm not like, you're not a top player. We chilled with everybody. Like we're just like, come to this room. We're going to go crazy. And we had our crazy times. I don't know what I could say on camera, but there was a lot of like insane stories. Like there was this barcade in Florida. We went there. When we got to this barcade, obviously the tournament CEO, they announced it like, oh, this is like an after party for this barcade. So we get there, and what happens? There's chicks there. One chick looks at me. Oh, a crazy like, oh, this is now a rock star lifestyle. Like insane. I'm so we could edit this, so it doesn't matter. But I'm gonna tell you guys some things that is like pretty crazy. So why, as I said about the guy that gave us 3,000 in ones, right? Our boss, in the strip club, right? Why did this guy have so much money? This guy made millions of dollars. Like, this is insane. Like, it's just a crazy life. And it's all thanks to this guy, this brainiac that like thought of this all. And he had the funds to do it. And people caught on. He got on Reddit. He was on Reddit. He had a mugshot. He did get caught up. But that was the downfall of Yomi, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, this guy just had money to blow, and he did what he did with it. And there was gamers when we go to tournaments, the number one question that they had for us is, how does Yomi fund all of this? But they said it in a way that they knew how they funded it. Like, it just is what it is. And yeah, so we partied. We were dominating everything. The record, and I don't think any team, we could look this up, whatever, but I don't think any team has ever done this, but we had at one tournament 7 Yomi players in top 8. There was only one person, Cowboy, that wasn't a Yomi that made top 8. But other than that, Yomi. It was just 7 Yomis. And that was unheard of for any sponsor ever. There was never a sponsor that had 7 players in top 8. The only time we would lose to each other is because we killed each other. Eventually we met each other and made one of us made each other get 9th, this and that. It was the storyline was Yomi versus Sonic Fox. That's what it was. And Cowboy was good too. But the real storyline is like, oh, Michaelangelo and Forever King have to kill each other. Slayer and DJT have to kill each. It was never like but this is the crazy thing. Why we got so good too is because Slayer one time drowned it in pools. And what happened to him the whole ride home? And that was a 13-hour drive. We still remember the name. We kept just saying the name that beat him, Kinetic Orochi. We just kept in the van. We would talk, right? We'd start talking shit. Anytime he would start talking shit, the whole van, Kinetic Orochi. And so you could imagine how the fear of your brothers, like, I'm going to hear this until the next tournament. Like something, if I drown in pools, like I'm hearing just bullshit from them. It makes you like, it makes a drive. I need to practice more. Like I have to just keep on it. So yeah, Yomi happened for about 2 years. Within those 2 years, hella tournaments, hella friends. Everyone wanted to be part of Yomi. We flew players down, KP, Tom Brady. And this is the moment I thought, man, this is a dream, because we went to a Denny's one day and the waiter thought it was unusual. Why are there like 8 dudes here talking about, and this was the funny thing too, we would always talk about matchups, right? Mortal Kombat, blah, 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 -7 and this and that, Sub-Zero's freeze. And we were so passionate and loud. All of Denny's was listening to us. Old ladies, like they were just like, what? And you heard that we said Mortal Kombat, but when we started talking -7 and stuff, you could tell we lost them. Like they're like, what's happening? So the waiter's like, what's this about? And we were just like, huh? And he's like, what are you guys? And I looked at him and I said, oh, we're all sponsored by a team playing Mortal Kombat, just traveling America. And he looked at me for a second and he's all, ha, you got me, dude. You almost had me going. And I was like, no, really? And he's all, Yeah, okay, brother. And he walked away. And we all looked at each other, and Slayer looked at me. I'll never forget his face, and he smiled, and he said, do you see how unique we are? Like, do you see the different type of, like, amazing life we're living? It is unfathomable what we're doing. He didn't even believe you when you're telling him the truth. And I was like, at that moment, I just felt like this surge of just, like, another dopamine happiness, right? Of, like, I'm living, this is a dream that's lasting. Just like I'm not waking up from this. It's insane. It's the unbelievable. What? There's like a light or something? We could end it, like, it's not going to go on for too much longer. It's the Yomi chapter and then Warner Brothers. Like,
I can go all night.
yeah, I can finish up.
That's
really.
fine, yeah.
So Yomi Gaming, 2 years, eventually our boss, the guy with the money, he gets caught. So eventually he gets caught up. We don't hear from him for 2 months, but we're still at Yomi. We still have some food. Like, it's like a bunker, right? He prepared for a long haul kind of thing. So there's toilet paper for miles. There's whatever we need for a long time, but we don't hear from him. We're like, it's day 3. Where is he? It's week 4. Where is he? Like, what? Where is he? But we knew, like, something. We're worried because we know something's up, right? And we're just like, well, damn. One day we're all training, and he comes in, and he tells us the whole story. He got caught up. He doesn't know how much longer he could fund this because, like, he just had his lawyer get him out and, like, this and that. So then, basically, it was like a year and a half. The dream started dying. The fantasy of, like, I just got paid to play video games with the best in the world, winning tournaments. It started coming to a halt. And little by little, all my brothers started going back to where they lived, DJT, MIT. We got to go back to college. Like, it is what it is. MKX is dying anyways. It's almost the end of 2016. Like, so they leave first. And then King has to go. And then Slayer. So I'm one of the only few remaining because I had a girl at the time for like 8 months. Like, while I was there, I had a girl, and it was just I started getting skinnier. Like, it was just a depressing thing. Like, it was like, this rush of, like, when you're at your highest high, when you come down, it's just gonna be harder, right? You're gonna land harder. So, like, when I got there, I was like 195 pounds. When I left, I was like 165. Like, I was skinny because he was gone for 2 months. Food started getting scarce. Like,
did you have to start fighting for it?
Let me tell you, the kind of in a way, not physically, but, like, there was some shady shit. Like, if you had food and like you put your name on it and it was like you had Chinese food, right? You put it in the fridge, you walk away, it's gone the next minute. Like, somebody's eating it because we didn't have any food. Like, it started getting that bad. Like, the dude's not there no more. Our funds, like, so. But this is what kept us alive. We were still winning tournaments, and the great thing was, me, King, and Slayer had this pact. When we get top 8, we're splitting everything. Like if King gets first, I get 7th, Frank gets 4th. We're still putting all that winning together, and we're splitting it amongst us 3. So we start doing that. So we don't have his funds anymore, but we have enough skill to fund ourselves. We're winning all the tournaments or whatever, So we survive off of that. But eventually it comes to an end. Yomi dies. And that's that. It is what it is. It was a great time. So I leave.
Well, how did it die? When you say, like, you just say it dies, like, what is it? Like, it just, like, gets Thanos and it disappears into the dust? Like, talk to me about that last day
It was depressing, dude. I almost cried. I didn't almost cry because I was leaving. I remember the moment I knew it was over. And it never felt like it was going to be over because that man just had infinite money till he got caught up. When they all started leaving, and it was me for a little while, and then I went to New York for a bit. I feel like I could make this interesting and say why I went to New York, but maybe I should leave it out. I'll leave it up to you to edit it. I have to go to New York.
Yeah, we're gonna remove that.
We're going to remove that.
I'm sorry, but I'll say what I say, and it's up to you guys to do what you want to do with it. So I have to go to New York. I'm talking to Cherie at the time too. 2015, Yomi did something for me actually. I still have one thing from Yomi. Not all the money that I made, right? Not like the tournaments. Yeah, that's cool. I still have the trophies. But one thing that I still have, that's the best thing in my life, Sherry Anzarati, my girl. 2015, I met her, and it was because of Yomi. Took me to all the tournaments. I met her at this tournament. First thing she says to me, would you like some of my whiskey? First, and a girl has never said that, where they just offer me the whiskey that's in their hands. She comes up to me, and I could tell she wants to say something to me because she looks like a robot. She's like this, and then I'm over here, and she goes like this, you want some whiskey? And I'm like, sure. And I just take it, and I drink some, and then we made a friendship. She eventually visits Yomi. We hit it off, great time.
Okay.
Do I edit this part?
It was a great moment, dude. So we had a great time.
I hope you're good at editing, dude, because
There's gonna be a lot of explicit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we could just be. We had a great time. She leaves back to New York. But then obviously the New York thing happens where I have to go to New York. I won't say again. We'll keep this in. So I have to go to New York, but I'm seeing Cherie at the time, and I'm honest with her. I tell her, look, I'm here for that purpose. And she says, okay. And I thought when I told her that, I was like, this is the last time I'm talking to this girl. But I'm just that kind of person. Like, I need you to know everything that's happening to me. You know what I mean? Kind of like this interview, I'm kind of telling you about the dude, how he made his money, about why I went to New York. It's just how I am. And if you don't like me, then then I guess you're going to leave me. It's okay. So, but Cherie, she understood. And I didn't see her. She said, do what you got to do. So I meet the chick. But then this is when I knew it was the end of Yomi. The chick and I, we did what we had to do. I said bye to her. Like, I was with her for 8 months, but I was like, we had this little like walk around the block. And it was kind of like that this is the walk around the block that we know we're done. And it ended okay, whatever. But this was the most saddest time. Like, it hurt bad, where I meet up with James MK and Rio. Rio was one of my brothers that was at Yomi for years. I go to the airport, and they drive me to the bar one last hour, and we all drink, we chop it up. Yomi is still in my heart. Like, it's still not done. Like, we're at the bar, but then I get to the airport, and I hug them. I hug both of them, and my plane ticket one way to California. And at that moment, seeing them walk away, Yomi was walking away. And I was just like, a year and a half to 2 years of my life of just like apeshit bananas, winning tournaments, like going crazy. Like, that's it. Like, and I thought at that moment, my gaming, I guess this is it for gaming for me. Like, it can never get this high again. You know what I mean? So it was a sad plane ride home, and it just felt so sad. And then I get home, and guess what? I go to Evo. And do you remember how I said I got ninth? I got ninth 5 years prior, 2011. When I go home, very sad, but I still have one more in me. When I go home, it's around like October, November. I go home. I go visit Cherie in New York on a good note this time. I don't go to New York for a stupid reason. I go to visit Cherie, and I stay with her for like a month. And we hit it off. Great. We see the New York. It was during New Year's Eve. So we see the ball drop, all that great stuff. Had the greatest time. So then I say bye to her eventually. Come back to California. Evo happens, like, obviously in July. So I didn't really train at all. And when I go to Evo, I get top 8. But this is the setup though. So there was a couple guys there that witnessed me get 9th. And have that, ball my eyes out. 16-bit was there. He got top 8. Pig of the Hut. So they're there. And I'm one match away again. I'm one fucking match away from top 8. And I have to play Tekken Master. And what happens? He beats me. And I go to loser's bracket. Still not going to make top 8. And I was like, at this moment, I said, the same thing's about to happen. I'm like, fuck no. And 16-bit and Pig of the Hut, they come up to me, and they know my history. They came up to me, and I'm focused. I'm like, this is not going to happen again. They come up to me and they're hyping me up, but in a bad way, but it's not their fault. They say, Michael, dude, you deserved top 8 5 years ago. This is your moment. This is the time to redeem yourself. And they gave me this speech, and right away I said, let me stop you two there. I already played that in my head. I understand the history. I'm living it. But don't do that right now. I have a game to play. And they were like, yes. Well, oh, yeah, we get you. And it was just, I still had a job to do. I have to play Biohazard. It's a matchup that I'm completely comfortable with. Quan Chi versus Ferritor. I could just zone the fuck out of Ferritor. I just knew the matchup. Shout out to Franco, Burrito Voorhees. So I play the matchup. Before the match, my mom's there. I invite my mom too. My mom, my brother, and this is the thing Slayer said to me, never invite family and friends to tournaments. I'm like, why? It's a superstition. You will never get top 8 if you do that. You just, because you're focused on doing family things and you're not training and stuff, whatever. But I did it. So before I have to play my match, I tell Cherie, when I go sit on stream, and this is on YouTube as well, the whole thing, I'm like, when I go and I sit on the stream, I'm going to wave you down and you're going to come to me and kiss me. And she was like, no, she didn't want to. She was like, I'm not doing that. No. And I'm like, I kind of put it on her where I was like, then I might not make top 8. And she was just like, ah. And she didn't believe I would do it still. I sat down, sat next to Biohazard, and I looked at her and I was just like, and you could see on the video, people are looking like, what's happening? And she actually comes up to me and gives me a kiss. And then the crowd goes, yeah. And I'm just like, woo, like already hyping up the crowd. And what do? I demolish Biohazard. No, I love Biohazard, but I just knew the matchup so well where, yeah, I demolish him. I get my top 8. There was the crying that happened in 2011 came back, but this time it wasn't of sadness. It was of like, I did it. Like I redeemed myself. Like I did all of that. Like it, everything. And then for a split second, my life of gaming flashed before my eyes. 2011, winning those 3 tournaments in a row, failing at Evo, getting 9th. The craziness, those years of just everything that happened, the New York situation, meeting Cherie, like everything happened. And then boom, the finish line, Evo top 8. Like, and this was the great thing. In 2016, the first time Evo ever signed a contract to actually have it in an arena. The top 8 players got to go to Mandalay Bay and have it in the arena. Top 8 usually just happened in the Caesars Palace at the venue that it was at. But they actually did the venue, and then Sunday they had Mandalay Bay in the actual where boxers fight. So then my mom was crying when I made top 8. Like she was like, my mom before I invited her to that Evo, she thought it was like as big as MADHouse. Like, it's just gamers in a room. Like, Michael hypes this up, but it is. My uncle knew. He followed everything. But my mom was more like, do your gaming, honey. Oh, that's cute. You know, it's like one of those. And I was just like, okay, Mom. But she got to see Evo, and she said, wow, like, I can't believe this. And it was just like, yes. And this was the greatest thing. When I made top 8, you had to buy Evo tickets, like, for Mandalay Bay to get to that arena. I didn't have one. I didn't really expect to make top 8. I wasn't sure. Tyler Lansdowne, one of the NRS people, I went up to him. He's like, congrats. I see your mom's happy for you and stuff. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, sadly, like, she's not going to be able to watch me live because we didn't get a ticket and it's sold out. And he pulled out an envelope and he's like, there you go. And I was like, whoa. I was like, thanks, Tyler Lansdowne. Opened it up. It was a front row. It was not even, it wasn't the seats, and it was straight up like, choose a chair. You could sit anywhere you want in the ground level. Like, I was like, well, so she was right next to the stage when I got up there. So I'm a fan of UFC, first of all. I got to feel. No, I'm saying what?
There's a fly on your face, dude. Yeah. Like I told you earlier, it's gonna be like National Geographic, dude. It's just gonna be crawling on your forehead.
I didn't even notice that. I know.
It's gonna be crawling on your forehead, and you're gonna be looking into the fucking camera, like, yeah.
Did we leave that in?
We could. I don't mind. I was like, but I was like, why are they laughing that I'm a fan of UFC?
That was such a touching moment. It was like building up and then
I don't fly. Fuck you. Fuck your story. So So I'm a big fan of boxing and UFC, and I always wondered like where are they coming out through the back and stuff. So when the Mandalay Bay top 8 happened, I was in the back, and they gave us anything we wanted, fridge, like with anything we want, condiments and stuff. But I knew I was like, I'm not eating that stuff. Like it's just gonna fill me up. I know how it is with training. Like I don't eat heavy and stuff like that. But hey, everyone was there. Sonic Fox in there, Hayate, and then they tell us, well, time to get out to the arena. And obviously seeing all the fans and stuff, like I was like, whoa, like I feel. And this is the crazy thing. So in the Mandalay Bay, when I was in that arena, I look up, and when I look around, what posters are there? Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, like these, like gladiators of combat sports that I love. And I'm looking like, whoa, like what I love that they experience, like I'm doing it for gaming. And like, this is amazing. I can't believe I'm here. Like the crowd's roaring and stuff. So I go to sit down. I get up on that stage, see my mom. She's there with her face like, all this because I bought him a Super Nintendo when he was 3 years old. Like, and I was just like, it was just that end of like a great thing that happens. I get bodied by Big D, but I made my top 8. It was a great time. Shout out to Big D. He now works for NetherRealm Studios. And then we're going towards the end here where after that Evo, I have my top 8. I'm on stage with Cowboy, and he tells me some words that are so true. He looks at me and he said, "Hey, Michael, I guess we're done." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like done with Evo?" "Yeah." And he's like, "Nah, man, we're done. Like we're retired." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Look, dude, you won your majors. I've won my majors. We got our top 8 at Evo. That's the goal. Win a major and get an Evo medal." He's like, "What else do we want it for? Money? There's no fucking money in this." And I looked at him and I'm like, "You're kind of right." And I'm like, and I'm not really doing this anymore just for the love of the game. Like, I guess so. I did what I did and I was out. Peace. So again, thought I was done. Guess what happens? Ring, ring, ring. Who is it? Tyler Lansdowne, the guy that gave me the ticket, and Derek Kurtzik. They hit me up, and guess what they say? We have a plan for you and Katana Prime. And I said, okay. And they're like, we want you to go work for Warner Brothers and test out Injustice and be the ambassadors, where you guys, like, E3 when there's like a demo of a game and then there's someone playing on stage. Well, you guys are going to do that for Injustice 2. And you guys are going to be GameStop ambassadors, and we're going to pay you for it. And like, it was almost like the Yomi thing, but now this is on a corporate level, like where I'm like, whoa, like, and again, thought of my uncle. He said the goal is get sponsored, and then it just went beyond it. It was like, it was something of a different beast entirely, where it's like, damn, like, if he would have told me the goal is to work for Warner Brothers, I would have just laughed. I would have been like, that's impossible. That's not happening. And then here they are. Warner Brothers hits me up. Yeah, we hear good things about you. We want you to come to Burbank. Straight up Warner Brothers Studios. There's the freaking water tower, right? Like, I'm in there. They're giving me the tour. The first Suicide Squad was there. They had all the costumes from the movie, like just everything. And I'm like, have my card key, like to get into Warner Brothers offices. Scorpion statues there. Freaking just games. They give me like 5 copies of Injustice 2 when it comes out, because I went there a few times. I got my eyes on the game, Injustice 2, right? Testing it. I'm just like, I'm playing it a year before it comes out. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. Got to do the whole E3 for free, PlayStation Expo, like all these things. So this is the moment where I was like, this fame has transcended. Like, I'm not just FGC famous anymore. FGC famous, it's cool. Like when I go to a convention, sometimes people want to take pictures of me. Cool. Like that's cool. When I was at the prime of like MKX and stuff, this was like the level of fame Katana Prime and I had. Let me just put it into perspective. So we signed a contract where we're ambassadors for GameStop, meaning we're also on those. If you worked for GameStop, which I did back in, I worked for GameStop in like 2013 when I wasn't doing stuff too. And so basically there's TVs and it replays videos. It replays videos of just like new games coming out. We were part of those replayed videos. So we go to a GameStop Expo. To be invited to this expo, it's just the managers and workers, employees there. There's over like 6,000 managers from every GameStop. Like you can't be just a regular person because it's like testing out games and stuff. Like it's a convention for GameStop workers. So think about this. I'm on every GameStop in America's TV. When you work, every day you're working, you're probably seeing my video like 5 times that day, right? It's like just a replay of it. Boom, boom, boom.
Way more than that.
Yeah, a lot. Where it gets annoying, right? So it gets, because I worked at GameStop where it's like, here comes that video where you could almost recite it after a while because you worked there freaking 8 hours. So I go to this expo that a bunch of workers are at, and what happens? Me and Katana Prime walking down the hall. We could not get to the convention. It was just all GameStop workers just boom, see us, stop. A line forms, and like first one person's like, oh my god, like Michaelangelo, Katana Prime, and then that person stops, and then guess what, other people, boom, line, blah 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 blah, and it's just picture couldn't get, and then walk like a minute more. Oh, like it was just madness. My friend Sean was with me too, which was pretty cool. I go to this like shirt area that they're selling game shirts. There was this girl that was there, and she was like looking at the shirts, whatever. And out of nowhere, like I turn around, she runs and hides behind the shirts. She's like, she sees me, she's like, oh my God. And she runs and hides behind the shirts and she's hiding. And like, I'm just like, what are you doing? And she's just like, and she like peeks like a little bunny rabbit. She's just like, I guess thinking like, okay, like she couldn't believe it. And I was just like, whoa. And she's like, oh my God. And she ran up to me and she's like, can I get a picture? Like the level of insanity of like the people, like I was walking the strip of Vegas, getting stopped still everywhere. Just like, can I take a picture? Can I take a picture? And I was just like the level of fame at just that moment was bigger than Sonic Fox, Justin Wong, because they're FGC famous. I said, and they've transcended FGC. Like they're now YouTube content creators and stuff, but they're known for fighting games. Me, GameStop, it was Call of Duty, whatever it was. They knew like this guy and Katana Prime. We were the first, so we were the ambassadors trying to get out there, letting people know, hey, look, it's 2017. You can now do a gaming career, kids. Like that was our job, telling you that there is tournaments there. Because even around 2016, 17, it was still not known like it is today. So we were there like on those GameStop videos saying like, look, guys, get ready for the storm because like there is going to be millions one day and there is going to be this. And when you tell your mom that like, you know, I want to be a gamer, I do. Well, now you have some backup. Now there's proof out there. You could go to YouTube and be like, look, they're getting paid. I want to do it. Like, you know, so we were kind of just that. That's what they wanted us to be. Like, you're cool gamers that are like, you know, be what you want to be, you know, and gaming's out there and it's a thing now. I got to see all like WB. I got to see their kind of like, what do you call it when their plan of like releasing a game like a year before it's released, where they even say like, this is the dates we're releasing DLC. This is the dates we're doing this, like their whole future plan. And I'm sitting there, they have a theater of a meeting. Like it's a theater, but they're just like clicking, obviously the slideshow. And they're like, and they announced the characters, the DLC. I'm a fan, right? I'm like, they're like, what? Freaking Darkseid's going to be in it? This guy's going to be in it? No way. And it's a year before it's out. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, and yeah, I was just in the theater and I'm like, I'm just witnessing all this. Like, where has this gone? And then I got to meet Ed Boon. I've met him before already, PDP and stuff, but I worked with him and I got to see him for a moment as a human being because we were backstage. We were backstage at we were at, I think it was PlayStation Expo or it might've been the GameStop Expo, but there was an arena and they called all the workers to go there. Like you have to go over there for this meeting and they're announcing Injustice 2. They're showing the gameplay and stuff. And I look out and there's 6,000 fans like out there just raw. And I have to be the gamer. Me and KP have to be the gamers that they planned. Like you guys are going to fight each other. They gave us a day, one day. You got to learn combos, the optimal combos. You got to learn like all the moves. So I'm there like, oh my God, they gave us the game, put us in a hotel and we're like, learn this stuff. And I'm like, dang, we got to put on a show. But then they also told us, you got to do it where like, we had goals while playing the game. While you do this one match on the stage, live in front of 6,000 people, you have to show off the supers. You have to make sure both of you guys are at like half life, like stipulations. So show this move, do this combo, don't drop it. Like where it's like, you know, when you play like a fighting game and there's like almost like goals on the side. Well, Matt, and you're in your living room, right? And you're like, you have to check those goals, and maybe you get bonus money for the fight or whatever. Well, imagine that in real life with 6,000 people watching you, like, and you're like, I hope I impress Ed Boon, you know, like, damn it, they put this thing on me. But this is where I got to see him actually human. So I'm back there nervous. Like, I am the most nervous I've ever been, more than any tournament I've ever been to. I'm about to perform. And this is the cool thing. You guys remember G4? Kevin Pereira, Adam Setzer, all of them backstage. Yes. I was like, and I seen Kevin Pereira, and they had their segment too. Like, it wasn't just Injustice going on. There was like, they were announcing something, and they were great personalities. So they were talking to Ed Boon. Kevin Pereira walks on stage. He kills it. He makes everyone laugh, you know, the whole thing. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be tough to get on there and like impress these people. I don't know. And so I'm pacing back and forth, getting the bubble guts. When I get nervous, I have to go take a dump. So I'm just like looking at the bathroom. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I'm just so scared. And I'm like, oh no. Like cause I'm like, once I go on stage, I can't go to the bathroom. There's 6,000 watching. I have to perform on this demo and stuff. But who do I see that also looks human and nervous? Ed Boon. I used to think these people like Hideo Kojima, Ed Boon, like these creators of video games and people that are announcing their game, I thought they just go on stage willy-nilly and they're cool. No. When I seen Ed Boon, he was rocking back and forth. This damn fly. This one fly is like suckers. But he's the homie now. He's listening to the story. I see Ed Boon pacing back and forth, and I'm like, he's actually nervous. And that made me less nervous because I'm like, whoa, like I feel him. Like, this is crazy. I get on stage. We have the performance of our life. WB loved it, where they gave me a contract. And they said, look, we want you to do this for a year. Go to E3s and talk about it. Go to this and that. And I'm just like, wow, this is so cool. And they make a pair of sunglasses for me. They're like, look, when Injustice 2 comes out, we're going to do this promotional thing. We're going to only put 2 sunglasses in every GameStop in America. And I was like, yeah. And like first person to pre-order or whatever, like gets those sunglasses. And they said, what do you want it to say? They said Michaelangelo. It could be whatever. And I said, you know, the Dojo brand, that little skeleton with the shades. I was like, we made that. Like WB, I would go to their office and they're like, okay, what do you think your brand should be? And I'm like, oh, they thought of the skeleton first, but then what really hit it off, I was like, do a skeleton with shades, because it's the shades that we're promoting here, like sunglasses, what I'm known for. We might as well put because this is what I told them. I was like, I don't want people to be walking around with glasses that just say Michaelangelo on it. I would love that someone just sees it and be like, those are cool sunglasses, and I would rock those because it's just a logo of a skull. Like, so it's pretty cool. So they were like, okay. So they did it. They put it in all the GameStops. Injustice 2 comes out. I would go to GameStops, Milpitas. I went to the release of Injustice 2 at Coleman GameStop. When I walk in, obviously with me being on the TVs and stuff, they're just like, no way. It's him. And one of the guys there, one of the workers, had my sunglasses on. And I said, what are you doing? Those are mine. And he was just like, what? Whoa. And it's just this big thing. And I tested it at other GameStops. Like I would go and I went to Milpitas, same reaction every time. Take a step in GameStop, all the workers close this down. We need to talk to this man. Like, it was insane. Like, I was just like, wow. Brought my uncle to one, like, check this out. Like, look what happens. And it's like, just like this is what you did to me. Like, your encouragement of saying the goal is to get sponsored. Look what the goal happened. Like, look what happened. Like, I'm walking in I went to the one that I worked at, and they were there like, what did you do? Like, what? I quit GameStop, and like, now I'm on GameStop, like, it was just, that was like the end of like the great like moment of just like, wow, it's all what it came down to. And it made me realize, like, dude, as corny as it sounds when people say like, if you keep doing what you're doing and like you can achieve like when Conor McGregor says like, if you just keep at it, anyone can do it. Like, anyone can achieve like greatness if you're consistent, really. Like, it went from me winning a tournament, me signing a sponsor, me signing to the greatest sponsor, Yomi, to working for WB. Like, all those things, like, it wasn't because I was great. it was because I was consistent. That's all it was. It was just because I never gave up. I would go work again a little bit, but then realize this isn't for me and go back. And it was just like how we said with MADHouse, we just got to keep beating at that brick wall. That's what I did for my fighting game career, right? Like there was that brick wall and it was like beating it. And eventually like it's going to break. Like most people quit in life. Like they do something, they have a goal. Let's do MADHouse or something. And they're like, and it ends when they're like halfway there or something. And then that was that. WB, great time. And after that, the COVID happened. Stayed with Cherie. Got with Cherie, since, 2017 is when we officially got together. Met her in 2015. Thanks to Yomi, thanks to all my gaming stuff. I always tell her, I'm like, one thing that I can take from all of this is like, I got Cherie. Like I got something that she's changed my life. So now after WB, quick story is like now the San Jose State thing, right? Now MADHouse, like, and I think Cherie did that for me. Like that was right when on the nose. But Cherie, like if I didn't have a girl, and I think it's good to have a girl because at one point I was like, no, I just want to be crazy, like during the Yomi days. But when Cherie, like she really persisted, like she moved to San Jose and she was like, let's try. And I was like, fine, let's just try it. Whatever. Like I was pretty hard, like to get, she still, we tease each other today. She was like, oh, you're friends, huh? Because she moved all the way to San Jose. But when she would say, hey, let's go out to like La Vix and just hang out, I'd be like, I'm busy today. Because this is the thing. She didn't admit that she came to San Jose for me. She said, oh, I just came because I always wanted to visit like around the Bay Area. She has pride. So she wasn't like, but me, I want you to say like, yo, I came all the way out here, moved out here for your ass. Like try, like, but she didn't want to. So I would kind of give her a hard time. She'd be like, oh, let's hang out. I'll be like, I'll give you 10 minutes today. Until eventually she was just like, look, I'm here because I want something to happen with us. So it eventually happened. We eventually moved in together. And because having her, it gave me like this motivation, like I need to keep at the gaming thing, but not just as a competitor, as like a host, a commentator, San Jose State coach. Like all that stuff was because I think of her. So I thank her for that. And also I thank Yomi for her. I thank my uncle for Yomi. And I thank myself for not dealing with people that would say, don't do that. Don't quit your job. And I had the strength to just be like, screw that. I don't want to live this, this like life of just that I know you guys have, or you guys are too afraid to take the jump. I'm just going to do it. Like, fuck it. Like, who cares? Like, I'm okay with taking a risk. And I knew when I was because I said, if I take this risk and I end up under a bridge homeless in the future, are you okay with that? And when I said, yes, I am, because I would be more okay with that than not trying and staying at Walmart. And I couldn't live with myself like that. And when I realized that, this whole thing happened. And now I'm talking to you guys. And MADHouse is happening. That's that, I guess, huh?
Damn. That's quite the story. Hopefully it continues on.
Oh, yeah. Now I don't think I can get out of the FGC. Like, that's just it. Like, with COVID happened, I tried to just be like someone that is like, I have my San Jose friends and stuff. But I realized with all this, the 10 years of FGC through all that craziness, I grew friends that I now have in Ohio, Vegas, and I hella miss them. So I can't get out of the FGC because I love those guys and I want to always be around them. And one thing that I realized that I strive for is when I meet a friend, I used to just meet friends and like he could be into fishing, but nothing else. And I'm into gaming. And I would meet him and be like, we could try to be best friends. Now I realize the easiest friends you could have is the friends that have the same hobby as you and interests. And I realize that with now the friends I have in the fighting games, like it's just easier that they play and I play. Like we do what we do. And it just, not only they're your friends, but they make you better. So it's like they're helping you with your goal in life. And I think that's great. And that's why I think I'm like, as like Eddie Brock with Venom symbiote, right? The FGC is kind of just consuming me and I can't let go of it and it doesn't want to let go of me. And it's great. And that I think that's cute because Sam's crying like a little bitch.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, it was a great roller coaster ride, and I was in my 20s. Now I'm in my 30s, trying to be a little more responsible.
Hey, the ride's not over.
The ride's not over, and I think we're doing a great job at MADHouse because Sharia tells me every night, she's like, look, you did that for yourself and my uncle and stuff. Like, you did it to impress people, but you did it for yourself to like prove yourself. She's like, but look what's happening with you in Atlanta and Dakota. She's like, you are building something, not for you, like as in winning something, but you are building something for people to come to. And that is bigger than yourself. That's a thing. That's an entity. That's like, whoa. People like us that are doing stuff like that are helping others, that are like building something for someone. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's why I'm doing San Jose State and coaching, because I realized I'd prefer to do that than be the guy that's on stage at Evo, right? Like, look at me, I did it. I'm done with that. I would prefer to look at my student on that stage and I'm like, yeah, you did it. That feels way better because it feels like 2 wins. I won because I coached him in winning, and I know the feeling of that feeling that he has right now, and that feels better for me because I'm like, he understands now. He's living what I lived through. So I love teaching more than anything. I would prefer one of my students win over me now because I did it, and it is what it is now. And I just want to teach people. That's why I did my dojo now, which was a great success online. I think it was more successful online than offline. Like you weren't there, but I don't know if Atlanta told you, but like I had a dojo session online. There was like 7 of us. There was Rex, Con, because it was just easier because I wanted to see how convenient would it be. Obviously parking and all that. We still want to do offline. But dude, the amount of people that showed up, kill switch, like it's just easier. You sit on your couch. We all went to one of the rooms, the arcades, and we're all just running around like, hey, so now you guys play each other, you guys. And doing that, I was like, we might have to do some MADHouses online just for more content. Because it's almost like you could go to a server that has no one. Yeah. So guess what? You hop in that server. It's like UP, but it's our own area now, right? But we're virtual. We're virtual. This is the future. Like, it's so insane. Online's great. And it's like, hey, you guys Atlanta could still be running around. That'd be cool if his little character had a pamphlet and he's like, hey, kill switch Michaelangelo, you guys play. And your little character,
I'm okay with that.
Your little character has his little stream set up and he's like, all that can be possible. It's insane. And yeah, it's a fun time.
I mean, I'm down for that if you want to try it.
I saw all you guys in the server. I saw all you guys like in the voice chat or whatever. I was running my own stream at the time. I was doing the editing stream or whatever, trying to get all the other stuff out. But next time I'm gonna for sure have to join.
Yeah, it was cool.
Even if you're just in there to chill, just
tomorrow,
I'll even stream it.
Tomorrow's the next one.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I think a good way to wrap this up would be, so Michaelangelo, that's your camera right there, dead ahead. Talk to the people, plug your stuff. Like, where do you want people to follow you? Talk to them about, I don't know, what do you want to promote?
On Discord, we got MADHouse, and I do this dojo thing because I love coaching. So, like, there's my dojo Discord where we just train online together. Follow me on, for more information, obviously, Twitter, Instagram, all the same name. MK Michaelangelo all together. Pretty simple. Damn, what else? The floor is mine. I mean, there's not much else. I'm excited for MK1. Things are going to be good. I think we have a great future. I'm proud of us 3 because I told Atlanta and you this where I was like, MADHouse will be a failure if we stop before 2023 and before Street Fighter comes out. Street Fighter came out and I told Atlanta, I was like, if Street Fighter comes out and MADHouse just died somehow, I would still think we were a success because we at least got that far. But obviously, it's like when you, what is the word? When you have a, like when you're like, you don't put so much on something where you're like, it's going to be like this. So you don't have the expectation where, so like, this is what I expected of MADHouse and that's it. So if MADHouse gets any bigger, which it will, that's only a bonus. Like, I'm just like, that's more of a success. And who knows, just like my character alone did the sponsor WB and all that, MADHouse, we already have a sponsor, shout outs, right? So like, there's that, but what else can come of it? the only thing that I recommend us do is just be consistent and still beat on that brick wall. Because if we go for 2 years, 3 years, like imagine like looking back here and being like, oh, remember when we did like podcasts 2 years ago? And remember when we had that like this MADHouse and we did it like this? And now look at it. Like, it's just great to see where it's going to go.
I already look at that during the prologue season. I mean, our stream kind of
blew up.
I still look at my Snapchats of me with the caption being like, yo, this is garbage.
Yes. But like, look how much it improved. And you guys have the top player mindset. I always talked to at Yomi, we would talk and be like, some people don't have that, the top player mindset. And what that is like, there's certain people that aren't willing to admit a loss or admit how to get better. Like they just want to throw an excuse to make themselves feel good about themselves. But at least we're top player mindset where it's like, we're going to look at this, right? We look at our streams and we're like, what can be better? We're not the best and we're far from it. And it's like, as long as we keep that mentality, but don't overwhelm ourselves, make little improvements. You know, there's going to be, I imagine it like a freeway, right? But there's like stop signs and rocks. But then there's moments of luck, which is the turbo boost, like in Mario Kart. Like, so there's rocks, there's things stopping us, right? In the road.
We'll censor that out. Well, I'll edit that out. I'll explicit that.
But then, right? And we hit him, right? Boom.
Two of a kind right here, dude.
Jesus.
I
You
said
guys
that.
make me work so much.
I said that last night on the stream.
Oh. Like we hit these things on the freeway while we're driving, while MADHouse van is driving, right? Boom, boom. But guess what? Also on the freeway is the nitrous boost. And we're going to hit some of those. It takes a while, but we will. And we're just going to keep going down that freeway. And it's only going up. Like, and I'm happy. It makes me more grateful because I see happiness in other people. We're doing it for people. I mean, we like it because it's our passion, but the fact that it's like, damn, people are willing to come and play with us. And like Sarah on Thursday, she was like, oh, can you put Puzzle Fighter on stream? And like this and that, like, and oh, a lot of Sai and Charlie and like people were like, oh, we seen part 1 of your podcast. And then Sai was kind of funny. He like looked at me and he's like, I seen part 1 of your podcast. I know your whole life now. And he walked away. and I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, just what we're building is cool because I love communities. I've been in a lot of them, Portuguese community, FGC community. And like, it's cool that MADHouse, we're this community. We're part of the FGC, but it's like, we're part of this NorCal community that's like, we have the familiar faces and the great things. And dude, like, I don't think one of us can do this. I think it was a special storm kind of thing, right? It's like Atlanta, great TO, like there to like regulate, to make sure everything's okay. If I'm fucking up, if Dakota's fucking up, come on, man. And if there's something with like, when Dakota tells me something, I don't really, I'm just like, whatever. And when I tell Dakota something, whatever. But when Atlanta tells us something, we're just like, he's right. Yeah, we got to listen.
He's the middle ground.
He's the middle ground. And Dakota, always the guy, like before we were talking, Atlanta was like, so what do we think about Dakota? Should we do this? And I'm like, he's a go-getter. And I wasn't wrong because what happens? Atlanta and I, if we did this just by ourselves, we probably wouldn't have pushed like you push us, right? It's like we're like, we're cool with just 4 PS4s. No, we need 6 PS5s. We're cool with this, just this laptop streaming. No, we need these lights. We need these cameras that track your face. All right.
That's how I sound. All right, keep going. No.
So you're the push that we need. And the hype man, the guy to bring the people, the commentator, the one that's been in the FGC long enough to be like, this is what we need to do. This is where we need to go. This is how we need to promote. Without each other, I don't think this would be as great as it was, as it is, and it's as is it going to be. So,
I 100% agree. I think all three of us, we have completely different energies, and we complement each other completely in such a way where, you know, hey, it allows us to provide the best, you know, to our players, right? Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want to create the best environment possible to allow people to compete, to be, you know, where iron can sharpen iron, right? Because the idea of like, again, the idea of me sitting there not being able to play with anybody, I don't want anybody in this area to have that excuse and say, oh man, there was never a great local like there is in New York or there is in Texas or anything like that. Like San Jose needs that. And we stepped up to the plate and we're going to provide that.
Yeah. And I feel like if it was just me or something, it would, like, we don't give up. Like, there's something where I feel like I don't think I know that it's just like maybe when one day, like how you were missing for a while, right? We're still there to push each other. Like Atlanta and I got, and then Atlanta's going to leave. So then you and I got it. Like, we're there to get each other's backs and make sure the machine keeps oiled and running, right? Like, it's just how it's going to be. And yeah, I really can't see an end to this like Yomi happened, but it is what it is. Like, we'll see where it goes.
Do you want me to start funding this thing in a different way? No,
Strip club.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, I think that's a pretty good start, or pretty good.
Yeah, look, we're gonna do another 5 hours.
All right,
here.
first
Yeah,
bar.
that was good. That
first
was good.
verse. Hey, thank you again, everybody who watched on YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Visit all my links to see all our other social medias. Join our Discord server, and yeah, hey, just join the madness. Remember to stay mad, people. Y'all have a good night.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Hey.
Oh.
That got pretty touchy there, guys.
My spine.
Don't worry, I got put up.
That would be cool. Like, keep it in, but just they don't know what I said. So they're like, what? So then at MADHouse they come to me and they're like, what happened? What happened in New York?